Hello and welcome to another episode of the Evening Crypto Cast with your boy, the Real Shaw 256. Thanks for joining again. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you guys watching these videos. I do make these videos, try to do them on a regular basis, and I do appreciate when people do listen and watch the videos and actually comment. Please let us know again what your thoughts are on what we're doing here. If you're enjoying the videos, if you're enjoying the content, definitely let us know. Also, let us know what you would like for us to cover in future videos. We always look at the comments and we always reply back. So, would love to chat with you guys. Taking a look at the current state of the market, we are currently trading at 279, almost 280 billion. Let's just call it that, 280. 24-hour volume staying steady around $50,000 or 50,000 billion. Gosh, 50 billion. And then Bitcoin dominance did drop a little bit from 66 plus percent down to 64.6, which sparked a few people on the YouTubes to kind of go out and go out on a limb, actually, in my opinion, that saying that the alt season is here because the Bitcoin dominance dropped 2 points. And so that is enough proof that the altcoin season is here, guys. If you did listen to your favorite YouTuber saying that, I would encourage you to do your own research and really think about it. As I've said in this channel before, I'm not a big fan of the saying altcoin season because during the last bull run we did see altcoins running, and two reasons was because Bitcoin was running, right? This is back in 2017. Um, that was the primary reason why the altcoins were having a good season. It wasn't altcoin season to me. Altcoin season, and it is defined somewhere. You guys can find the definition if you just Google it. It is defined as a point or a period in time where Bitcoin is staying pretty stagnant, staying pretty steady, and the altcoins are having a great short time season. And to call it a season, I would say that that would take or that would mean that 2 to 3, maybe 4 months of this sort of price action where Bitcoin is staying stagnant and the altcoins are actually moving quite nicely. That to me would be that would consider or that would be a meaningful as far as what an altcoin season would entail, right? So given the fact that during the last bull run, Bitcoin ran and altcoins followed, that doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, mean that that is an altcoin season. And therefore, I don't believe in this whole saying that there is an altcoin season coming just because the Bitcoin dominance chart dropped by two percentage points. So definitely, and you see it here, right? There's a slight drop here and a slight tick up on the altcoins. So again, that in no way, shape, or form, in my mind, determines that there is an altcoin season coming at all. And look at this. I mean, these are the top players, right? These are top altcoins. It doesn't mean that all the altcoins were having the same type of reaction. Going for 10, 50, 100x at a time. That was not something that was happening. Again, these coins just follow. And the number two reason was because remember that was back in 2017 that the big huge ICO craze that brought upon us about 3,000 different cryptocurrencies and tokens, utility tokens, and you must differentiate between the two when you talk about this sort of thing. Is there is cryptocurrencies, there's a bunch of them that did come out during that period of time, and then there was also a lot of utility tokens, ERC20 tokens that came out during 2017, and remember a lot of that money was being funneled to altcoins through Bitcoin, right? So that was part of the big reason why Bitcoin ran up all the way to 20,000. A lot of people were injecting money into Bitcoin to buy altcoins, and then you saw both making that same type of run. But now going forward with all the regulation that we've had from the well, actually, I'm not going to call it regulation. because there has been a lack of regulation, but there's been a lot of threats. I'll say that. And the SEC is not something anybody wants to mess with. We have seen it with the recent Kin lawsuit. They're even trying to go to the community to raise some funds to defend themselves in court. Um, and just over, a lot of people are kind of afraid, or being now they're being really careful about what they're putting out there as far as a token or cryptocurrency, making sure that they didn't raise funds illegally, as that being one of the major points, as to something being a security token or not. So again, with the SEC stepping in into the field and saying, "Hey, you better be careful with what you're doing," they're not really setting rules or writing laws at this moment, but they are threatening to come down on a lot of projects, as they have done so back in 2018, and so far 2019. They've slapped a couple of lawsuits as well. So Kin being one of them. So again, because of those reasons, I don't think that in 2019 we are going to see another ICO craze. I don't think anybody's going to go wild and create a bunch of ERC20 tokens again, or even IEOs, right? And that's because again, that sort of thing is going to be blocked off by regulators here in the United States. So if you're not in the States, good for you. If you are in the States, I myself am a citizen here, so it's kind of a tough luck right now. I do think in the future some of these things are going to iron out, but this is just a complete overreaction from regulators. And then as things kind of clear up, regulations going to kind of taper off a little bit and relax a bit. And finally, in a few years, we'll probably see a more laxed environment for new projects and cryptocurrency and security tokens or utility tokens, coming in the future. But as of right now, don't expect any altcoin season, anything like that. Again, especially with the SEC and federal government suppressing these alternative projects, let's call them that, for the time being. If in the future, which I do think will happen in the future, say 2, 3, 5 years down the road, the SEC does come out with some regulatory guidelines that allow for these sort of projects to flourish, then I do think we could see another utopia of cryptocurrencies and utility tokens come out, as we did see in 2017, and thus for we could definitely see an explosion in this industry. But as of right now, you guys, my advice, and this is not financial advice, but this is just overall kind of blanket advice, is stick to Bitcoin certainly, and just maybe something like Litecoin. I guess XRP could be thrown in there. Just Monero, Dash, these sort of projects. Anything that didn't have a pre-mine or anything like that would be just something simple to go by or go off of. And just don't. I've always said this in this channel. This is cryptocurrency. It's a risky investment. You're trading very volatile and risky assets that really are not backed by any company, for the most part, right? We did see Tron having a terrible week this week, thanks to Mr. Justin Sun. But other than that, just try to stay away from those things. Try to stay within the top 15, top 20 coins, because you're going to find that there's more liquidity there. If you do enter a trade, it's easier to get in and out. Again, this is a very high risk asset class, and if you go down the list, to these other crypto projects, there's less and less liquidity here. You could get potentially stuck in a project that's just failing. Namely, geez, take your pick, really. There's another one here, Maximind coin. Just be smart about it, guys. Care about your money. I seem to care more sometimes than actual people's doing the trading behind the scenes. So anyway, I'm gonna get off that soapbox. Let's get into price action here. Bitcoin on the 4-hour. We did tell you guys last night about this move going to 10,100. We made the measured move. I was hoping that we did close one 4-hour on top of this 200 EMA here, this blue line here. which was good, but we couldn't hold it actually. We closed it, but we didn't open and close one above it. So that's really what I wanted to see. Right now is being rejected from the 200. I do think that we really need to make a quick move above it, and again open and close at least a couple of 4-hour candles here above this area before we can start to get bullish again. The RSI is looking like it ticked down, or it ticked to the downside and wants to get back into the neutral zone of things, or neutral area of the RSI, where we could lose momentum here. Also, there's a little bit of divergence between these 2 points. This is a higher high technically on the 4-hour right here. This high is higher than this past high, and look at this. There's this one just seems to be above it, and then also this here. We were on a downtrend, and this wasn't really a recovery. So this looks suspect to me. This looks a little worrisome to me. I'm not sure that we're going to be able to stay around here, especially given the fact that we are being rejected by the 200 so far. Again, I do want to see. Oh, sorry, this is the 1-hour. What am I saying? I'm sorry, you guys. This is the 1-hour. We haven't closed. Let's look at the 4-hour. We already saw that. The 1-hour we being rejected on the 200. I really thought I was on the 4-hour. My apologies, guys. So we're being rejected out the 55 actually on the 4-hour. So same rule applies here. The 55 on the 4-hour, or the 200 on the 1-hour. We do need to get above it, in this case on the 4-hour, above the 55 here, and actually start closing, opening and closing some 4-hour candles above the 55, so that we can start to get a little bit more bullish on this. The 55 is coming in at 101.61. Let's see, what was the high? The official high of that was 10,188. So not bad, but we really need to come up and close some candles above it to again start looking at the next target. I told you guys this would be the next move on my one of the next moves, and one of the likelier moves overnight and coming into the weekend. I told you guys to watch out for that. We're currently at 10,100, which is good. But again, if we want to look at, if we wanted to see an extension of this run, we definitely need to get above the 55 here and close maybe a 4-hour, maybe 2 4-hour candles here before we start looking at, hey, maybe we come and retest the 89 right above here. This aqua line here at 10,350. That would be the extension of the run. At that point, I do think that would be the target. We could see a bit of a retracement from Bitcoin once we hit the 89 and come back and take a breather, come back and revisit the current price action at around 10,100. So here, let's actually put some lines in here. So we'll call current price action here as support, and then the next target, let's call that out, will be right around here, 350. But this is going to act as resistance here. So this is where we're at. It'll act as support on the way down. This is where the next target is. Again, if we do get above it, and again open and close a 4-hour candles above this area here, then I start to look at the next move, maybe being to the upside again in continuation. And then the last point here that we'd be coming into some friction here would be the 10,500 range, right where this simple 200 is coming in here, this area right here. And we'll go from there. Again, we're taking a step at a time, where we're constantly reassessing what is going on, what the chart is telling us, what the price, the volume, the RSI, all these indicators, are taken in consideration when we're making these moves, when we're betting on, a certain move, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. So we'll reassess when we get there. Let's take a look at the daily here real quick, and squeeze this down a bit so we can see it. All right. Again, and I told you guys we're still forming this bullish flag here, this bull bull flag looking thing here. Here's a shaft coming in right here, and then a descending channel. Usually, usually these things will play out as well. So, on the way up, I think I just moved that. On the way up, if and once we break through this formation here, this is the expected move. If you want to look at that, I did the analysis on my last video. If you guys want to go back and look at that, but this would be the expected move right around 15.3 to 15.5, somewhere around there. That would definitely generate a all-time high for this year. There's a lot of people calling for a 20,000 or 20,000 plus by the end of 2019. And if that is the case, we're definitely rounding up, second or third base right now, and we're pretty close to coming into the home stretch. And so, if Bitcoin is going to reach up into those previous highs, then we will need to see, Bitcoin try and make an attempt to break this top resistance line here at coming around at 11,800, 11,700. And then again, build a lot of momentum up on that, break through this line of resistance, and again reach for new highs. Again, don't expect that this is going to happen overnight or in the next couple of weeks. This is going to take a lot of time. Again, till probably late 2019, right? But this is something that is definitely foreseeable right now. Definitely something that we can almost taste it. We can almost smell it, right? So definitely looking pretty good, especially after this little bounce here. Again, I've told you guys, I do want to see the gap fill being done since we're in this range now. These are the shorts, and the shorts are just getting shorter and shorter, right? So what does that mean? That people are getting more bullish and more bullish, right? That's the sentiment. Bullish sentiment is just piling on. So this area right here, starting around 8,500. I mean, we're pretty close. We're pretty close here. And again, it would be a lot more beneficial if we do this. Take care of business now, and then we can just move on from there. Because these gaps, they do act as resistance, right? They act as major resistance. We always see it in traditional markets, and anytime you have futures contracts like that in combination, then you have to have, a lot of times you have to have these gaps filled. I mean, it's almost a certainty, and even though there is no time frame for this, it's almost a certainty. So whether we do it tomorrow or whether we do it in 3 months, again, I do think since we're down here, it would be ideal for us to hit that and just take off from there. All right, so let's see. Let's look at the more immediate. Let's go back to the 1 hour. Actually, I want to look at the 3 hour. 3 hour also holds a pretty good amount of weight here. How the 3 hour is looking above the 55, being rejected by the 377 on the 3 hour. Although RSI is looking pretty bullish right now, looking like it has some legs and it still has some room to go on the upside. It is getting into the more bullish territory in the RSI, so that is definitely looking good. 3 hour is telling us that we can actually reach above the 377 here and actually make a try for the simple 200 right here or the 89 EMA over here. And if that happens, then we start closing some 3 hours or 4 hours above these levels here. Again, you know what we're looking for. We're looking for the next step to be around 10,350 and then 10,500. All right, so stay tuned. I myself, I told you guys last night. Let's look at the 4 hour. Told you guys on my last night's video, I did enter. Was this last night? Yep, this was last night. I did enter into a trade right at the bottom of this red candle because I was definitely expecting a bounce, and it took a little bit long. I mean, definitely Bitcoin being a little sluggish in the last couple of days, and really throughout this time here since July 18th, it's just been kind of a very sluggish. Not a whole lot of volatility, and we did see some volatility indicators, just kind of taking a breather, volatility levels going down, and then after that, it's pretty much expected to have a blowout or breakdown move after we have had such low levels of volatility. We do see it here. Bitcoin trying to break out of this current formation here. Let's do a little bit of trading 101. One of the things I've always, kind of preached on this channel. Look at that, just textbook trading. 101. It's being held by this resistance line here in this green line. We tried once, twice, and then we break through it on the third pass. And again, we could see continuation here, just depending on what happens on the next 4-hour candles. Let's look at let's go back to the daily and look at where we closed the daily candle here just a couple hours ago, 3 hours ago, 3 hours 30 minutes ago. All right, actually closed above the 55, so that's always a good thing. We did get rejected by the 30. So here's what I'm on the daily. Here's what I'm looking for to actually again start turning around this indecision and take a more bullish posture. I want to see it get above the 30 on the daily and stay there. Close another daily candle above the 30, and maybe close another, and then maybe try and reach for the 21. If we get above the 21, then immediately I really change my tune. The 21 again just being one of the key indicators throughout Bitcoin's run. Anytime we're above it, we can definitely say that we are on a more bullish posture. Just go back and look at it. Also, the 200 EMA is also one of those lines that it's a breaking point in my mind. But we're being that on the daily, we're so far apart from it. There's no reason to really be ultimately bearish on this yet. Again, until we break this. But as of the more immediate time, as of the shorter time frame, I do think that if we can close above the 30 simple on a daily, then we start getting more and more bullish, start getting more momentum to the upside. And RSI is also telling us that there is reason for that, for us to feel a little bit more on the bullish side. We did get a cross to the upside here earlier today, and we did get that cross, and it's looking pretty bullish right now. It's definitely in the more neutral zone here with the RSI, so less resistance. 30 simple being an area that can easily be broken above or broken through. This is looking pretty good. I mean, but it is cryptocurrency. It's very volatile. You have to watch these things very closely, because it can change from 1 minute to the next. Right. So let's go back to the 3-hour here. Again, we're saying it's looking pretty good above the 55. RSI is looking pretty good. Let's look at the 4-hour. 4 hours is looking actually pretty good. I mean, get a bounce off of the neutral zone here. Nice little bounce, and just gaining momentum. This blue oscillator here is actually getting more erect, so that's always a good sign. Always a good sign. It means that there's confluence between the 1 hour. Actually, the 1 hour is telling us it wants to take a breather. Let's look at the 2 hour. We haven't looked at that. 2 hours looking pretty bullish. It's in the bullish control area. So I do think we could definitely extend this run. Given looking at the 2 hour, the 3 hour, again the 4 hour, telling us the same thing. The daily is definitely telling us the same thing. Let's just look at the weekly real quick. Weekly is not looking good. But yeah, got to be careful when you see the weekly, still ticking down. And it has been on this downturn since back in beginning of July, basically. So even though the lower time frames, again, this is the shorter periods. They're telling us to be, that there's more room to run to the upside on Bitcoin. The weekly is telling us overall we could see. I mean, it does coincide with this whole with this huge formation here of consolidation. So in the grand scheme of things, it does look like we could continue to have some nice bounces, retest resistance, but then overall, we could come back and retest the bottom of this channel here like we did here. We've already tested it twice, right? You know, so this could be, you know, a temporary move, come back and retest these two guys, these two areas of resistance here, ultimately around the $10,500 range, and then come back down, retest around it. Look at that, 8,500, right? So do pay attention to these things, guys. I mean, it's right here. It's all, you know, it's all coinciding with it's all coinciding on the charts. Everything that we've been talking about, you know, there is reason for this, and the charts are just, you know, definitely coinciding and definitely in conjunction with what we are looking at, what we're seeing, what we're talking about. All right, so I believe that's all I have for Bitcoin for now. Take a look at some alts. I know XRP was having a nice day, and again, I told you guys last night, if you want to go back and watch that video, I did tell you guys that, you know, we could potentially see a bounce here since Bitcoin is due for a bounce off that area, and I did enter a trade on Bitcoin. I was telling you guys that, you know, most likely XRP is going to follow on that same pattern, and look at that, it did. And you know, it is good to see that right now it's having a bounce off this previous line of support here. Let's actually paint it here. This has been a line of support, and actually change the color to green, so we know that is a support area. You know, we've touched it several times, right, in the past, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I mean, this has been kind of like the turning point for XRP, and it has always bounced off of it, always. So it's always a good thing, and you know, for future reference, you know, if you did, excuse me, if you do see XRP coming back and retest the 30 cents range, 30 cents flat here, it is quite possible that it is going to have a bounce. Right now, it looks like this is the 4 hours. So let's look at this. Let's zoom in a bit. Looking like you know, it's actually grinding its way. I mean, it's like that little, it's like the little engine that could, right? I mean, just getting past these levels of resistance here. The simple, what is this? The simple 100. Actually, let me bring this back up. Simple 100. We also have the 30 simple, the 55 getting above that, and the simple 200 coming in right here with this white grayish looking line, and actually opening and closing some candles above it. So it's actually surprising. We did reject off of the 89 exponential here, but you know, I'm not too worried because this is looking good. This is looking pretty good. So we can actually see. I can definitely see continuation of this run here. If we do get above the 89, we could come back and retest this area here at 35 cents. Right? But we do need to get on top of this 89 here and close some 4-hour candles before we can say that's even a possibility. We'll need to do that first, and then again, this will be another area of resistance here. Let's actually put a drawing on it. This will be a next area of resistance here. 33.5 cents will be a key point in my mind. In between the 89 and the 200 here. So if we do break above this will be our next target. We could get a rejection from here and come back and retest this area of support, previous resistance that'll now be acting as support, and we could potentially come back and you know, bounce and have another try at the 200. Again, it's always contingent upon what Bitcoin is doing, but as long as Bitcoin is moving to the upside, then we can definitely agree that XRP is going to definitely follow, and you know, follow this pattern here. First stop will be 33 cents, 33 and a half. Next stop will be, you know, 35 cents, right? That's on a 4-hour. RSI is looking pretty good, definitely in the bullish control zone. We want to keep it there, not too worried about that. Not much to really be worried about at this point with the 4-hour and the RSI, and what the chart is telling us. Price action is above these lower points of resistance. Let's look at the daily here real quick. Let's come back and zoom in. There we go. Daily is you look at that again. You know, it's you know, so things are starting to look up for XRP. We did open a we closed, and now we opened a candle above the 30 simple here, which is a good thing. and we definitely want to see it close above the 30 simple. The next, so in about 24 hours, or actually 22 hours from now, we definitely want to see a closure of this candle staying above the 30 simple here. We definitely want to see it reach to the 21. We might get a rejection, but it's still not a bad thing. If we do get on top of it, then we do start getting plenty of momentum. But look at that. It's again, look at this area that I was painting up for you guys. This 35 cents area here is actually lining up perfectly, just perfectly with the 21, right? With the 21 right here. Let's go back to the 4 hour real quick. Right, 33 and a half daily, right, with the 21, right, 33 and a half. All right, so these things work, guys. Look at these different time frames, and then by looking at all of them, you can definitely take a pretty strong stance on what is happening. Again, the daily is looking pretty bullish on the RSI as well, so definitely looking like this run can be extended. Again, as long as Bitcoin doesn't go on a major dump and decides to ruin the party, then we can definitely see a continuation of this run into the 21 here. This is definitely the next target here. So 33 and 33 and a half. Watch out for that. This we again we could reject on the first try and come back and retest current price at 32 cents. So that's all we have for that. I do want to take a look at Link. As I was telling you guys yesterday, last night's video, Link is definitely this formation, this triangle here, symmetrical triangle looks like is pretty full. I mean, quite full. And so if we break, and it looks like it's already trying to do that, right? It's already looking like it wants to break out, not break down, right? It did get rejected off the 30 simple here, but I do think it's going to try again. I do think it's going to try again. This is the daily again, but it is very, very close to actually making a decisive move to the downside or upside. But I am leaning at this point to more to the upside, especially because Bitcoin and the alts are actually following on the same run. I do think Link should follow suit, since it has been one of the strongest coins, one of the true revelations of 2019, in my opinion. For maybe for some of you that have been following Link for a longer period of time, think that this is a long time coming, since prior to 2019. But this is definitely, for me in my eyes, a revelation of 2019. Still thinking that this could be the alt coin of 2019. Above everything else, above everything, every other altcoin. Bitcoin's just that's a separate conversation altogether. So, but it is looking pretty bullish. It does look like it's retesting this top area of resistance here. Actually, let's change the color. I don't know why I did not do that before, to make sure that we color coded and things are easier to understand for you guys at home looking at this. Again, want to get above the 30 simple, and that will indicate that this could be a breakout move, right? Need to get above this 30 simple. That is the one key thing in the shorter time of things. We're currently at 241. We really just need to get to $2.50, and then we can start to get a little bit more bullish. If we get to 250, again, start looking more bullish, and then we're going to retry. I do think we're going to wake up to the 21. We'll probably get rejected off of it on the first try, but we'll probably trade steadily in between the 30 and the 21 here. That's on the 1 day. RSI is looking pretty good. We did get a tick across to the upside here earlier today, and that could actually get extended. We are in the neutral zone, so that's always a good thing. Easier to get to build more momentum behind it. Let's look at the 4 hour. Actually play with this a little bit. 4 hour above this area of support, above the 377 to the 10 simple. Again, just skimming the top of this resistance line. We did get a tick across over to the upside on the RSI, so that again is always a bullish thing. We are in the middle of these. Gosh, what did the word escape me? Needed to drink some water. That was it. In the middle of the neutral territory. So again, we can definitely build upon this. So stay tuned on that. The next area here would be $2.50. Just like we were talking about on the daily. If we can get to 250, we're gonna be good, right? Right. We want to get above the 30 simple, which will which will get us to about 250, almost 249, 250. We'll just round it up. So these areas again, just coming in convergence with each other. The 55 here on the 4 hour. Let's look at the 3 hour real quick. See what the 3 hour is telling us. RSI on the 4 hours looking pretty good. 3 hour looks like rejection off this top line of resistance here. Let's actually do this. All right, looks like rejection off the top of the resistance here on the 3 hour, but still look at the RSI, not flinching, not even flinching here, staying pretty erect and looking like it wants to continue. So this, I mean, it is a rejection off the top of the this line of resistance here, but again, I do think based on the RSI, the momentum is ticking up. The momentum is telling us that we can definitely have another try at it and actually break through it. And I am, again, for everybody's sake, and I mean, I know the Link community has grown tremendously. I know that for a fact. I see it pretty much on social media, pretty much everywhere you look, whether it's Reddit, uh, Instagram, crypto Twitter. I mean, it's all over the place. Facebook as well. Huge community. So again, I do think I'm going to lean more on the bullish scenario. As long as again Bitcoin does continue on this run, then it's even a bigger reason to be bullish on it. Resting on top of the 55 right now, and yeah, just I mean, gosh, these things are microscopic here, kind of difficult to see. Um, but we're right in between the 21 and the 55 actually, resting on top of the resting on top of the 21 and the 30 simple here, and the 55 just coming right on top of it. There's a lot of confluence here. Definitely a lot of price gravity, price resistance in this area. But again, because we do have a lot of moving average convergence here, so it is going to take a little bit of weight to get us out of there. Again, we have this line of resistance coming down here, and these moving averages acting as resistance from the downside up. All right, not looking good on the 2 hour though. The RSI did tick down and had a cross. Although if Link can muster up a little bit of buying pressure here, I do think this cross to the downside could actually tick up and actually continue on this run. So not too worried about it yet. If we do get a close of the candle at 240, $2.40, I do think we're going to see a continuation of this RSI to the downside, and this cross will actually be confirmed. Actually, we can actually confirm the cross to the downside now. But if we do end up closing this 2 hour and maybe a 4 hour around 241 even or lower, 241 even or lower, I do think we're going to see we could probably see continuation of this downward pressure. Okay. All right, so that's what we have for Link. Again, gosh, I really hope that it does break out for the sake of a lot of people. Litecoin did have a nice response to what Bitcoin was doing. And let's look at the again. This is the 2 hour. 2 hour not looking too bad. We're top of the 30, the 21, the 55 is here. The 100 is right below it. So I mean, there's a lot of convergence from these moving averages here, acting as gravity, pulling the price into this area here. So we are gonna need a little bit of help from the Litecoin community coming in buy up this area in order to get above it and actually get on top of this 200 simple here before we can start looking at 98. So um, let's see here. Yeah, so if we break above 95.50, this the simple 200 95.50. If we break above it, then we can come back and retest the 200 EMA right up here at 98. That is going to be our next step. If we do break above it, we're going to come back and retest this area here at 104 with the 377 and past prior action, price action, right? So all these things coming into confluence, that is going to be a huge area of resistance there. Let's actually draw a line right there. It'll be a huge area of resistance right there. Okay. So that'll be a target. I mean, if you buy up here, you could potentially buy it here and sell it at 98 cents. Actually, I'm sorry, 98 cents. What am I saying? 104. That's where we're looking at. $104 where the 377 in this line of previous resistance is coming in at 104. So you can buy it here again at 94 cents. This is not a bad entry point, and then dump it right here at 104, 105. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at the 4 hour. See if we find any areas of convergence. Yeah, right here, 200. You know, coming in right around the same area. 104.75. Okay, so again, good entry point right where we are here. 4 hour looking pretty good as well, above the 30, the 21, and the 100 simple here. Did actually reach above the simple 200. It did get rejected, and but you know, I'm not too worried about it, especially because the 4 hour RSI is telling us that there is more room to grow here. There's definitely more room to go and retest this the 89 EMA here at 97, which would also coincide with the 2 hour. All right, is that what we're looking at? I think we're looking at, I can't remember if it's the 1 hour or 2 hour we're just looking at. I've kind of lost it. But yeah, that's what we're looking at. Need to get above 55. Try to get above, open and close above the simple 200 here. And then we can start looking at, you know, this next area. All right, RSI looking good. Let's look at the daily real quick. Actually, we're gonna need to zoom in a bit. Actually, a little too much sauce there. All right. So we're above the 200, which is a good thing. We did break it here for a little bit, but we're actually holding it now. Again, the 200 has been a pretty good indicator since back here, since March 4th. So ever since we broke above it, we have remained above. So if we do break this area, that would not be looking good. Although this bottom area of support is coming in here, and overall the macro trend is looking like it's building an ascending wedge. And this would be our area of support here, coming in around 73 cents. I know a lot of people bought in at those ranges and are pretty happy right now with the current price action. But you know, again, we still need to test this area here at 104. We could face plenty of resistance there. Dump it, do what you will, not financial advice, and then rebuy maybe at this level here. The 200 has definitely been a good indicator as a sure way to buy the dip, because the trend has been that we have kept above it, and as long as we don't break it and remain below it, like we did here, we broke down, but we actually just immediately got back above it, right? So that's definitely a bullish sign. A lot of buying pressure down here in the 70s, low 70s range. But again, if we go back and hit the 104, 105 range, you can expect a rejection off that area, and then come back and buy in around the 200. Right? If you just buy and sell that, buy the support here, the 200, and sell that, you know, you're not going to be too bad. That's not going to be a bad strategy for you. Let's end it with Ethereum here. Ethereum's looking very, very sluggish in my opinion, although RSI is looking pretty bullish. It's letting us know that on the daily, it is looking like it could have a continuation getting above the 30 simple. That's always a good sign. But it does have a pretty significant gap in here where there is going to be no resistance. But again, it's going to have some buying pressure here to get into this more this busier zone here with these with a cluster of moving averages here back into the 238 area, 240 area. If we do get into that 238, 240 area, this will be our next target here, area of resistance here, right there, 239, 240. If we do start closing some 4 hours, again above it, opening and closing above this area here around the 241 range, 239, 241 range, then we start looking at, we'll pivot from there. Because we could have a rejection off of here. A lot of times the 55 does act like a magnet, so we could get a wick to the 55 and then actually reject off of there and come back and retest the 200 here, as it is doing right now. It's retesting the 200 right now, where the 30 is. Major pivot point there. We've been above the 200 since May 11th, and we've kept it, except that we lost it here. It did try to regain it, and we're struggling to get back above it. But if we do, it's going to be a great sign for Ethereum. Let's look at the 4 hour real quick. 4 hours is definitely looking good, looking bullish. 4 hour did have a cross to the upside on the RSI, trying to get into the bullish control zone, looking like it's testing and rejecting off the 55. We definitely want to see it get above there. Want to see it get above the 55, close to 4 hour candle, and then look at again this area here, 231 will be our next target. Actually, on the 4 hours is actually telling us some pretty good information right here. This could be another, and again, it's coming in with this past area of resistance here. We touched it once, touched it twice. We're going to come back and touch it 3 times. If we don't break above it, then price action and momentum could get weaker, and we could come back and retest this low here at 203, 204 range. Again, if we do reject off this area, okay. Again, this would be if we wick up to the 55 on the daily. We could come back and retest 239, 240. I do think we're going to see a wick up there, but not really close any significant candles above or in that area. Okay, that's kind of what we're looking at for Ethereum. All right, so I think that's all I've got. I'm looking at the 3 hour really quick just to see 3 hours converging, telling us that there is more room to go to the upside. So Ethereum is also looking pretty good right now, looking pretty good. These two areas of these two target areas, are going to be key in the next few hours, the next day or so. Let's see. All right, so yeah, I am going to end it there. If I didn't cover your favorite coin, if you want me to look at something else, throw it in the comments or reach out to me. And I am on Twitter, I am on Instagram, and this YouTube channel. So if you want me to look at another coin, something else, whatever the case may be, even traditional markets, definitely let me know, and I'll cover it on the next coming videos. Let's see. All right, so let's get on to the news. I did want to talk about a few things. I've told you guys, I kind of actually went on a rant one of my last videos a few weeks ago, letting you guys know that even though SEC has not released clarity as far as what the regulation is going to be going forward for crypto assets, they are definitely, spreading this wave of fear among cryptocurrency outlets. In this particular case, we see Abra now coming out and saying they are restricting Americans from holding EOS and 4 other altcoins. Again, this is not based on any regulatory confirmation or any release of new information from the SEC. They've released a recommendation for new crypto assets that are trying to enter the crypto market, but nothing concise. Nothing has been written in stone. There's no legislation that has passed through Congress or anything else. So again, this is just fear mongering, and unfortunately, a lot of these cryptocurrency outlets are just succumbing to the fear, succumbing to the threats, and not really wanting to hold their ground. And again, we see Abra. We did see Binance announce the fact that they're leaving the U.S. market, and they're actually subletting their crypto exchange practices over to a third party. So they will not Binance will not be owning any part of the U.S. based Binance exchange. So make sure you know that. Make sure you understand that. That means that there's not going to be any SAFU fund for any stolen funds going forward once you start trading in a US based Binance platform. That is something that CZ himself has come out and said, which I do appreciate him being completely open and honest about stuff like that. And again, Abra following suit. We also saw Bittrex following that same scenario, or that same following in the same line, where they're also restricting certain assets from trading for U.S.-based customers. So this is a continuation of that same pattern with different outlets, just restricting and in some cases just abandoning U.S. operations altogether. This is not these are not the only cryptocurrency exchanges that are doing that. There's a ton of there's a ton more. There's a list. You can just Google it, and there's a list of other outlets that are doing and following the same footsteps that Abra, Binance, Bittrex are doing, which is sad to see, because again, it's not based on anything that is fundamentally or anything that has been established from the regulators. This is just fear, and I mean, I can't blame them. They're trying to be proactive. They're trying to stay out of trouble. They're trying to stay out of jail. I can't you can't be mad at that. All right, taking a little bit of sip of water. And then as I was telling you guys, one of the biggest news this week was this guy right here. Um, skipping out and postponing the lunch with Warren Buffett. I'm not going to talk too much about this. I don't want to give this guy too much attention. But look, he's out and about in San Francisco, partying up with some friends. There's actually more pictures of him doing this. It looks like he's in some sort of loft in downtown San Francisco, one of these high-rise buildings, and just having a blast. He does have sort of a worried smile in his face. So I think he knows he's under some fire. I think he understands the situation, but still, just a complete douche, skipping out on that and just making everybody look bad in the cryptocurrency world. So definitely thumbs down for Justin Sun. But if you go on crypto, or I'm sorry, crypto Twitter, if you go on there, you'll see that there's a bunch of these pictures rolling around on crypto Twitter. All right, moving on from that. Last thing I wanted to mention, this has been on everybody's mind for quite a bit of time now. Actually, for years. If you've been in the crypto space for at least a couple of years, this has always been something of concern for U.S. based customers, U.S. based traders or hodlers. Back in 2017, 2014, there was attempts, or there was talk about IRS and regulators coming out to provide some sort of clarity on taxation upon digital assets. But nothing has changed, unfortunately. Documents reveal cryptocurrency guidance has not been a priority for the IRS. And this is a great article. I'll leave it down in the comments so you guys can read through it, because it does give up a lot of very, very good information and insight to what's going on over at the offices of the IRS. On May 16th, in response to a letter from 21 members of Congress, IRS Commissioner Rettig wrote, "I share your belief that taxpayers deserve clarity on basic issues related to taxation of virtual currency transactions, and have made it a priority of the IRS to issue guidance. And that additional guidance would be issued soon." 2 weeks later, at a May 30th Federal Bar Association conference, Commissioner Rettig was more precise about the guidance timing, saying that it would be coming out very soon, could be within the next 30 days, could be even less than that, unquote. May 30th was 40 days ago, and there is no guidance. As we detailed in our April report, a duty to answer, quote, U.S. taxpayers currently lag guidance on basic tax issues like how to calculate the fair market value of cryptocurrency, how to determine the basis of the cryptocurrency disposition, and how to account for network forks and airdrops. Very important here. That report also contains suggestions for common sense clarifying guidance that the agency could issue at any time. To date, the agency has published a single piece of guidance on the topic, 2014's Notice 2014 through 21. Numerous stakeholders within and without the government have noted that 2014 guidance failure to address these and other basic tax questions and have made repeated requests to the IRS for additional guidance. Let's move on further. So these are some of the things to outline. Definitely, again, I would recommend you guys to read through this. It's very useful information and just a clarifying article as to what is going on as far as the IRS and taxation for cryptocurrency assets. Simply stating that for federal tax purposes, virtual currency is treated as property. General tax principles applicable to property transactions apply to transactions using virtual currency without providing clarity on what specific kind of property would raise more questions than it answered. The guidance failed to sufficiently specify how taxpayers should calculate the fair market value of a given cryptocurrency on a given day, making the guidance contingent on the cryptocurrency in question being convertible under the Financial Crime Enforcement Network. Existing guidance would create additional uncertainty, and it was unclear, and the guidance would not answer whether and when cryptocurrency holdings would trigger Foreign Bank and Financial Accounts and Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act reporting requirements. That is a mouthful. The emails further indicate that within weeks of the publication of Notice 2014 through 21, the IRS was aware of the ambiguities surrounding one, what tax lot relief methods are available to taxpayers for cryptocurrency dispositions, and what methods of substantiating tax deductible donations of cryptocurrency donations over 5,000 are acceptable. All of these questions, and many of which we have highlighted in our report, remain unanswered today, 5 years later. Right. So it is very clear. Again, if there's any consistency between the IRS, the SEC, and other regulators trying to get their filthy hands in cryptocurrency, is the lack of interest, the lack of action. If you're not in the U.S., then good for you, because we have such a bureaucracy here in the United States and lack of action, lack of urgency. Although thanks to LibraCoin as of late, LibraCoin has definitely caused an uproar in Congress and regulators. Everybody's just squandering now, running around like chickens without a head, trying to figure out what is going on, but they know that there is a fire under their feet. So hopefully now that LibraCoin and many other projects are starting to come out and trying to disturb the hallways in Congress, maybe this will be a turning point for regulators, and they will actually start doing something for the wages they are being paid. So that is all I have for you guys. Hopefully you found this video to be informational and educational. I always try to bring you these videos as regularly as possible and provide the best quality information as possible as well. So hopefully you got something out of your time in exchange for the time you spent here. And I will see you guys on the next video. Remember to hit the like button and share with your family and friends, anybody that you think that could benefit from this. And we'll see you guys on the next video. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much.